We all have to face our final moment, sooner or later. Things we do during our lifetime are those we'll be remembered by after we're gone. Some people, though, will be remembered by the way they died. Here is a list with 10 most bizarre deaths in history. Number 10. Aeschylus. Known as one of the wisest men of the ancient Greece, Aeschylus is best remembered by the tragedies he wrote. His death, though, can be described as a comedy, rather than tragedy. According to a Roman author who lived a few centuries after Aeschylus, the Greek tragedian was killed by a tortoise falling from the sky. You're now probably thinking that this can't possibly be true, but wait till you read about how it happened. An eagle dropped a tortoise on his bald head, mistaking it for a rock that would break the tortoise shell. As eagles actually do drop tortoises on rocks, the story of Aeschylus' death might not be a lie after all. Number 9. Qin Shihuang. The name Qin Shihuang awakens respect in Chinese people every time he's mentioned. It's because he was the first emperor of China and one of the most successful rulers of his time. Who wouldn't like to be an emperor? Qin Shihuang liked it so much that he wanted to be the emperor forever. Unfortunately, someone told him he would achieve immortality by drinking deadly mercury poison. He didn't become immortal, but he did end up on our list. Good enough. Number 8. Fela I of Hungary. Fela I was the man responsible for the eradication of paganism in Hungary, for which he's still celebrated in this country. However, fighting pagans isn't the only thing interesting about Fela. The way he died is not taught in Hungarian schools, but saying it's interesting would be an understatement. His lavish throne fell apart beneath him, causing him injuries that later claimed his life. Number 7. George Plantagenet. Other most bizarre deaths on the list were accidental, but George Plantagenet chose his own destiny. After losing in the War of the Roses, George was to be executed by the orders of his brother, Edward IV. As a true example of brotherly love, Edward let him pick the way he would be killed. That's when George showed a level of creativity for which he'll be remembered forever. Forget about beheading, George Plantagenet chose to be drowned in a barrel of his favorite wine, Malvasia. Number 6. Hans Steininger. Hans Steininger was the burgomaster, that is, the mayor, of a town in today's Austria. What he did for his city is forgotten, but the way he died isn't. Hans broke his neck when he fell. It wouldn't be a surprise if it didn't trip on his own beard, which was 4.5 feet, 1.4 meters. Number 5. Dancing Plague. We stay in Austria, but we got to go to the early 16th century. No one knows what caused the dance epidemic of 1518, but it affected more than 400 people. They danced, with only moments of rest, for a full month. Of course, so much dancing is not good for anyone, and it proved to be very bad for about 30 people who died from stroke, heart attack, or exhaustion. Number 4. Clement Vallandigham. Clement was a 19th century lawyer who was so passionate about defending his clients. One time he went too far, accidentally though. While trying to demonstrate how the victim could have killed himself while drawing a gun, he did the same. Literally the same, he shot his brains off. But there's a silver lining to this story. The jury eventually declared his client not guilty. Number 3. The Great Molasses Flood. More than 20 people were killed in 1919 when the Boston molasses disaster happened. The clue to what caused this tragedy is in its name. People drowned in molasses rushing down the streets of Boston at the speed of 35 miles per hour, 56 kilometers per hour, when a storage tank burst. The tragedy became a part of the local folklore, with many songs and stories depicting it. Number 2. Robert Williams. The Ford Motor Company was the first to introduce the assembly line. This company also marked the history by being one of the pioneers of automobile production. In 1979, Ford marked the history once again. It became the first company in which one of the employees was killed by a robot. Robert Williams died from the injuries inflicted by the arm of a 1-ton heavy robot. Number 1. V. Kamaraj. According to National Geographic, the odds for getting killed by a meteorite are 1,600,000. Tell that to V. Kamaraj. In 2016, the Indian bus driver became the first man to be killed by a meteorite. He was killed when a rock from the sky hit the bus he was driving, injuring 3 more people in the process. Of course, Kamaraj might not be the only victim of murderous meteorites, but this is the only recorded case so far.